Hey, what is up guys, and welcome to a brand new DayZ upcoming updates video. For this week there is going to be a huge amount of content, so I hope you guys are ready and let's get right into it. First, we're going to be talking about the work that continues on trying to get 6.1 ready for the stable branch. They said server-side performance is one of their main goals for 6.1, and a lot of the issues in 6.1 go back to this. If the server performance is not good, it can change a lot of things like the modifier and damage application can get stuck or delayed. AI reactions and speed can be reduced. This includes infected, wolves, and wild animals. Door states can be reported incorrectly. So server-side performance can affect a lot of things. So obviously that's something that they're going to continue to work on as we get closer to 6.1 stable, making sure that the server performance is as good as it can be. They're also looking at other things like infected sounds being too quiet, their response to firearms not being the same when you change the weapon that you're using, infected being able to push characters through / into model geometry. I've had this happen. I've had infected push me from inside of a barrack to the outside of it. Also void volume being too loud. Also they did push out a experimental update just today, so that update actually addressed a few different issues like characters displaying as nude in some situations, some gunshot sounds not being played for all players, a new server crash, and some adjustment to predator AI behavior. I've actually ran into two of those things. I've ran into the characters being nude at distance. That was happening at about 100 to 150 meters. Players were being nude after that. And then also gunshots not being heard. I've had that happen also this week. So hopefully those two issues have been fixed. We'll have to get on there and do some testing. Now something else they're working on is actually trying to make vehicles better and get them back into 6.1 so that they're ready for stable as well. They want to bring back the vehicles as soon as possible, they said, and there are two blockers as of right now, and that is client-side correction and bad simulation when 2 or more players are inside of the vehicle. And hopefully if those two things are taken care of, we might be able to see the vehicles back in 6.1. Okay, next we're talking about more updated visuals for Trinaris. If you guys remember in the last episode we also talked about this. This time they're showing terrain light reflection, variable coloring of trees, and that's to add a bit more of an autumn feel to Trinaris. It was also mentioned that they made some progress on the new simul weather / true sky technology that they are using to render the sky and clouds, and they said these are just experimental visual effects, adding a little bit more drama to the world. So let's take a look and see what they've got for us here. So first we're going to start with this example here. At the top you're starting with the old, and at the bottom it's the new, and that is the reflection that they mentioned there. If you look closely at the rocks on the bottom, you see a bit more of a light reflection. That's what they were talking about in that first part of the visual upgrades. Here we're looking at pictures of a forest, and we're looking at the changes between the original and the changes after they added the autumn effects. If you didn't catch the changes there, here's a little bit of an easier way to see them. Basically when you're switching between them here, look at the trees and you can clearly see the autumn one has more color in the trees. Okay, now we're seeing the work in progress implementation of the simul weather / true sky technology. And I know you guys are probably thinking the clouds don't actually look that great. What's going on here? Well, I think this image was taken on very low settings. You can see that by the buildings and the trees around. I'm sure the clouds do actually look better, but for some reason whoever took the screenshot took it on very low settings. But either way, they give you guys an idea of what the clouds will look like. I just wish the screenshot was taken on, higher settings so that we can really get a good example of it. Alright, now to something pretty exciting. We're talking about new player character features, and here we have the animations that have been polished. A lot of these look way more fluent. There is a video to go with it, but there is also a new camera system that has been redone, and what you'll see here is the movement along with this new camera system and the polished animations creates for some really fluid gameplay, way better than what we have at the moment, where it's kind of a little bit clunky. You get those animations that lock you up. Here, all that is gone. The main objective of these changes is to give the players greater control over the character. You now have the possibility to interrupt almost any animation, and some animations you can even do while moving, like when you're eating, you can now do that while moving on this new system. So a lot of that is a huge change, a big improvement. We will see that in here in the video. They did post a video today. I will be showing you guys a few parts of it and just highlighting some things. I won't be showing the full video since it's about 2 minutes, but I will link it in the description, and I do recommend that you guys check it out. Okay, so what you're seeing here at the beginning is the new camera and also the character movement, which is a lot more fluid now. The new camera is quite different than what we have at the moment. It has a bunch of new angles that you just would not get before with the camera that we currently have. And you can also see here some of the new animations. There is a bunch of new animations in this video actually, but yeah, you can see some of them here, and also the eating while being able to continue moving. That is a huge improvement there. So yeah, that's some of the changes I want to show you guys and highlight in this video. Again, link to the full thing is down in the description. Moving on, we're talking about changes to military locations. They said to get rid of the military loot saturation within Mishkino tents and Northwest Airfield tank camps, we have decided to significantly reduce tank count in these locations and use newly created buffer of tents to either add to existing or create completely new military locations on Chernars. So for Mishkino, they said the camp has been stripped to 1/4 of its previous size and it has been built from scratch. The area does remain the same, but they did say that we plan to change this area significantly as it's part of a much bigger plan that is aimed to do a complete redesign of the western border of Chernars. So what we should see in the near future is the reduction of tents in Mishkino, and then after that, at some point, we should see the redesign of the western border of the map. And for the changes at Northwest Airfield, they said the tent camp over there has been reduced to half and completely redesigned from scratch as well. And they're not done with the changes to Northwest just yet. They mentioned that this airfield hasn't really changed much since the Arma 2 version of Chernars, so they do plan on bringing it up to par with Chernars Plus and the changes they've made to the map in DayZ Standalone, and that's something that we should see down the road. But what we should see soon is the changes they made to the military tents, and 2 pictures of the changes have been released. Kamensk military base will also receive changes. They said this area has received a slight facelift along with its surroundings and will receive more once the new forests arrive. The base received a number of military tents scattered among the ruins. This change, along with other smaller additions to the northern highway, should hopefully increase traffic in this part of the map. So what they're doing here is, instead of like what they did at Northwest and Mishkino, which is removed from them, they are adding to this to kind of balance the flow of players around the map, and hopefully we'll see more at Kamensk. DayZ military base will also be receiving some changes. They said a large military camp was added into the perimeter of the base. They did also say DayZ military base is still not yet considered to be done, and it will change in the future. And we're not done just yet. They said 9 military locations were added, with 1 already present on 6.1 experimental, and that is the Sosnovka military camp. They said they are represented either through a military roadblocks with different sizes or through a smaller military camp like the one in Stary Sobor. They won't be showing us a list along with pictures here, but we will find them in future experimental updates. The goal behind all of this is to spread the military tents and the military loot around the map, so instead of having just a massive amount of tents at Mishkino and a massive amount of tents at Northwest, they are spreading those out throughout the map, and thus that will spread players throughout the map as well to go loot those military locations. And I do agree with those changes. I think this will help the flow of players a lot, and we'll finally get PvP in areas other than, just Northwest and Mishkino. Guys, this has been a huge upcoming updates video. Many changes coming to DayZ, many awesome changes. So I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit that like and also subscribe if you are new. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the videos on the screen if you missed them, and we'll see you guys in the next video.